Actually, Sasan, I'm not completely from IT background. I did my graduation from civil engineering. Also, I was into a rotational shift, not able to prepare on full time.
So you literally first resigned from your job and gave yourself a room for preparation, and then you got the data engineering job.
Resume, it's like first I uploaded in 𝗏cie, but I was not getting much call. Yeah, but in the resume also I have mentioned 2 of the projects. So they asked like how you performed this.
I am seriously very impressed with our today's guest speaker. You won't believe that he is someone who graduated in the COVID time, like in 2020 itself, that too from civil engineering, struggled a lot even to get his first job, worked as a freelancer somehow on just 4K, 5K, building the maps for the civil engineering companies, and then somehow got into the support engineer role. And interestingly, after that, with the full motivation, high enthusiasm, and with the right direction, he was able to crack the data engineering role. So a lot of time people feel that if they are coming from the different kind of background like civil, EC and all that, and maybe somehow got stuck in the support engineer role kind of things as well, there are very least chances to get started in the data analytics or data engineering. But he has literally made this successful transition, and that is why I invited him, so that he can share all his experience with you, the challenges, the preparation roadmap, the interview experience, the projects, how you can improve resume, all that. And definitely you will feel really motivated after listening his experience. So stay there for next 30 minutes and watch it till the end, and share it with your fellow friends who are also stuck in such kind of situation. And after the long wait of 4 or 5 months, and after helping many aspiring data engineers to crack high packages across the globe, finally we are starting the new batch, which is Data Engineering 4.0 with AWS. And again, this is going to be a live classroom batch for all the aspiring data engineers. You don't need any kind of prerequisite, doesn't matter what kind of background you are coming from. This will be a complete basic to advanced 3 months of bootcamp, all live classes. And in this bootcamp, I will take you from zero to hero journey of the data engineering from the very basic. Live classes are going to start from 9th of November. So admissions are open, and only for few seats we have started the early bird offer. So you can use a coupon code FIRST50, and starting 50 users will be getting this amazing exclusive early bird offer on the Data Engineering 4.0 with AWS bootcamp. In this bootcamp, apart from the modern tech stack like the Snowflake, Databricks, Kafka, Airflow, BigQuery, GCP, and complete AWS cloud agnostic project, I have added few more important add-ons like the Apache Flink for real-time stream data processing, and the Iceberg and Apache Hoodie, and many cool projects around these tech stack. So this is what you will be getting in this new edition of the Data Engineering Bootcamp, and the exposure of more than 12 plus industry grade projects end to end, including the deployment and many projects around the GCP and AWS agnostic data pipelines as well. You will be getting dedicated placement assistance here, including the daily and regular job posting, plus dedicated resume and LinkedIn profile building sessions, personalized one-on-one sessions with me, continuous offline doubt support on the private Discord groups, plus the doubt support after the live classes itself. And all these things at a very affordable price with quality content, which will help you to kickstart your journey in the data engineering and crack your dream salary package as well. The enrollment link has been given in the description, or you can visit www.growdataskills.com to join this bootcamp, and make sure to use the early bird offer, applicable only for first 50 users. So use this code FIRST50. And if you have any doubt or query, you can always call or drop a WhatsApp message on this number. We will instantly resolve your query. So what are you waiting for? Enroll right now, and I will see you in the live classes. All right. So thank you so much, Gautam, for joining me in today's podcast. Really excited to have a discussion with you about your journey in the data engineering space. But it would be really good if you can give a short introduction to our audience about your background, education, companies, whatever you want to share.
Thank you, Shashank, for the intro, and also for having me in the podcast. Let me introduce myself. I am Gautham. I am basically from Dindikal, Tamil Nadu. I did my schooling, graduation, everything from here. I am a 2020 passed out graduate actually. After that, I joined Mindtree as a fresher. There I worked 2 years in a production support role actually. In most of the service companies we have that role. Then recently, after completing this bootcamp, I joined as a data engineer in a company called 𝗝𝗶𝗶. It's a Euro-based company.
So Gowtham, let's start from point zero. Share something about your college life, like how it started, what was your stream, what were your plans actually after completing your graduation, where and how did you get your first job?
Actually, Sasan, I'm not completely from IT background. I did my graduation from civil engineering. That's a core branch. And while studying also, I did not had any idea about like after completing civil also, we can be moving to IT. So initially, I was exploring into the civil engineering only. Like, well, I was a bit interested in a part called GIS and remote sensing that will be working with some kind of map or satellite images we used to work, and we will be creating a digital map kind of thing. I started learning. As I'm a 2020 passed out, right? That was the time when we had COVID. So most of the civil related companies stopped hiring. There's nothing of kind of hiring was going on in the civil field. So I learned more about the GIS and remote sensing. Even though I got on company offer like it was in Bengaluru, it was like a very less salary. It was 13K they were providing at that time, and I was not interested. With that, it will be difficult to manage in Bengaluru. They were not also providing the work from home option. So I started doing some kind of freelancing. Like I used to create map kind of projects and give it to company who recently, like you might have seen some kind of layouts in the big companies. Those kind of maps I used to create and give it to them. But I was not getting some sort of say, and in the long run we can't continue like this, and we need to skill and then only got to know that some of the companies do hire people from non-tech background like mechanical, civil. They are also getting into IT, and when I researched about it and got to know about the off-campus hiring going on in TCS, Infosys and Mindtree, I gave all the three actually. In TCS and Infosys, I went till the final round and could not clear, and Mindtree I got placed.
How much you were getting paid as a freelance, let's say when you're creating the maps for the companies, and how much you were earning for the support engineer role at the Mindtree?
During freelance, it's not kind of, I'm not doing online actually, those Upwork or something. I used to approach the company offline, and if they ask, it's a difficult process, and it was very minimum. It was enough just for our survival. Like if we get one map and maybe monthly like 6K like that only we can like. It's not, I don't work that much time also. It's like a daily 1 hour or 2 hour I used to work. Rest of the time I started preparing this aptitude and some of the coding courses.
Oh, I see. And how much Mindtree was paying you for the support role?
Mindtree, it's like a standard. They used to pay 3 LPA at the starting. And there is another role for which they used to pay 4 LPA. I was in the 3 LPA role. After 2 years, I got around 50,000 hike, and I was getting 3.5 LPA there.
When and how did you find your interest in the big data and data engineering? Because this is the most important point to discuss. As you already mentioned, you had no thought process to go into IT during your college. You are not coming from the IT background, CS background itself. So when that turning point actually happened?
Actually, in my production support role, I was working in a fabric actually. So I had a bit idea about what that. So whenever there is an issue, we used to connect with people like data engineers or else DRIs who are working in those roles. And I felt like when talking with them, I felt like how they got into this role, and what sort of things we need to do to get into those roles. When I researched that, first thing it suggested was like learning a SQL and Python. So I started with SQL. SQL we used to work actually, but we don't actually code. There will be a stored procedures which are saved, and we used to just execute those kind of things. I used to do on SQL. So also I was into a rotational shift, not able to prepare on full time, like completely not able to focus. So one day I used to focus, and next day I will be in the night shift, and it stops actually, the consistency breaks. And so I kept the papers, and then I started like with the SQL part. So while completing the notice period, I got bit knowledge on SQL and basic Python without offers only.
So you literally first resigned from your job and gave yourself a room for preparation, and then you got the data engineering job. Wow.
Yeah, correct. So like SQL, once I got some knowledge on SQL, I started applying for SQL developer roles, something. But that is something different from data, I guess. So I stopped applying for that. Once my notice period was over, that was the time when I had bit SQL exposure and like Python, basic level Python I got to know. Then I got to know about I used to watch podcasts in different channels and somehow got into that I got into GrowDataSkills podcast also. So that was the time when you started your 3.0 batch, and I just enrolled in that. Also, the price was not that much high actually. I should thank Shashank. That's the reason I chosen yours.
I'm really happy that our effort somehow contributed a bit in your journey to get into data engineering. So I'm really glad that some amazing transitions are happening with the help of our bootcamp.
But I won't suggest this to start leave the organization and to prepare, but that will create a career gap that I was not aware of that.
Later on I got to question as well. So when you, let's say, resigned from the company, you had the notice period as well. After that last, let's say, day from that company, how much time it took you to get your next job in the data engineering space? And there was any point when you felt that this was my wrong decision to leave the job and I'm not earning? That is also a kind of mental pressure. So how did you deal with all these things?
So earning part, I saved a few of the monies to manage 3-4 months without a job. One good thing I did before leaving actually. Awesome. And coming to this, I left the organization in the May last week. You started your bootcamp in the April first week. So what I used to do is every weekend I used to go through this course and I used to practice on the weekdays. So it took me around 3 to 4 months to land in my current role.
You had no background at all into this space. So once you planned that, okay, I will pursue my career in the data engineering, what kind of step-by-step roadmap did you follow to acquire the industry demanding skills? I know in my bootcamp I have included a lot of things which are demanded by the industry, but what were your target areas and which thing did you encounter the most from the skill set wise in the company interviews?
So what I used to do is whatever projects we are doing in the GDS bootcamps, I used to try it on my own, and with little changes I used to created a portfolio actually with all the projects. For Airflow and PubSub I created one project, and for Azure related I created so that I can show the skills when the interviewer asks to justify that skills. I don't have a hands-on experience, so I can show them this portfolio I used to work, and I have to showcase our interest in the data engineering field so that they will come to conclusion, because everyone won't hire without hands-on experience. Even interviews, I gave many interviews, 30 plus of interviews, and in that around 10 interviews they just needed someone with good experience, good hands-on experience, and they directly told me other persons seeing my skill sets and my interest to learn, they were moving forward with the next round. That's okay. I would suggest to create a portfolio and upload there.
Can you list down those important skill sets as well which you focused a lot, got into the depth of it to gain the good knowledge?
Actually, every interview will have this SQL round at first. They need to be thorough in SQL, at least medium based and mostly on window functions based questions. And then a bit of Python based on list, dictionary, those kind of things. After that they can move on to data modeling concepts. I was into having 2 years of experience. They were asked not in depth questions, they were asking some basic questions related to this as it is an entry level role. And then we can I mostly skipped that streaming and real time data, as it was not asked in much of the interviews. So I just, after SQL and Python, I went to PySpark and Spark. architectural questions, everything I covered, and then data modeling questions. And Airflow was useful, and BigQuery was really useful. And that's the good thing actually in the bootcamp. Like you just does not cover Azure part alone. You cover the GCP and BigQuery as well, which I am using currently in my organization.
Yep. And that was the intention as well, to cover the wider spectrum so that someone's chances to get the interview calls also increases a lot. Let's say if you would have only mentioned Azure or something, maybe they would have avoided you because you have not touched BigQuery or GCP related services. You had no background in the data engineering, no exposure to data engineering projects like the industrial hands-on company kind of project. So what kind of challenge did you face during your job search because of, let's say, all these kind of reasons, right? No past background. Share that story, right? What were the actual challenges with the recruiters, convincing them for the interview and all that?
Actually, it will be still does not have an industry level experience, even though we have done projects hands-on. Like we don't know what they are doing in the back end. When they do much cross questions, we will get to know like then only. Like after attending some interviews, I got some basic insights that I need to learn this. Like somebody will cover ETL process, and then like reverse ETL, like that they used to cover whatever they are using in that organization. So what I did is, like in LinkedIn they have like top mate links, right? I used to connect with those people. Also some people I connected with our bootcamp Discord also, like who are already working in some ETL or something related to data engineering. I used to connect with them and ask like what's your work nature, and there are many help people in the LinkedIn. They used to help.
How did you improve your resume? Like how did you adjust the experience, like earlier the freelance experience, then support engineer role experience? Like how did you adjust all these things in your resume, and what kind of projects did you try to build for the portfolio? If you can share that experience, it will be helpful.
Yes, and this is also a part which I struggled in the initial days actually. The resume part, those freelance experience and civil related experience I have removed. That is not relevant to what we are doing now. Since I joined Mindtree, whatever task I'm doing, those experience only I added, and the projects I have added from this bootcamp. Resume, it's like first I uploaded in 𝗏cie, but I was not getting much calls. So I used to like change some part of my resume and give it a try. Like, well, I was not checking the ATS scores and all. I just used to change my resume and upload in 𝗏cie. So whichever week I got some good response, I kept that and I followed that resume for the rest of.
Nice.
Also for searching the job, I mostly used LinkedIn actually. 𝗏cie did not work for me.
How did you like prepare your project portfolio? Like you worked on the project, so where you were maintaining it, right? How did it go for you?
Actually, I don't know HTML, frankly speaking. I followed one of the YouTube channel. There they mentioned like what are the steps we need to follow to create a portfolio. So I did changes according to my. Once we see that video, where maybe we will get to know like that's how HTML works. Like where to add this kind of what. There will be a certain templates we can just edit and create a portfolio.
And you were like putting your projects on the GitHub as well, or just you?
Yeah, GitHub. I will provide that project GitHub link in the portfolio.
So in any of the interview, was there any encounter where the interviewer just got into the depth of the projects and asked the questions around it?
Yeah, but in the resume also I have mentioned 2 of the projects. So they asked like how you performed this, how you used the Airflow, 𝗶𝗶𝗶, and those kind of things they used to ask. That's an added advantage actually, as we don't have an experience. That will help in the interviews.
Like how did you get the interview calls where you were applying for these jobs, and what kind of mediums you were actually using, and which medium worked the best for you?
I mainly used 𝗏cie and LinkedIn. Regarding the interview calls, even I was not getting much actually. If you see my LinkedIn applications, it should be nearly 2,000 of applications, in which like only 100 I got a response from HR, and that will be converted into interviews, maybe 30 we can say. So it's like a 10% we used to get. We need to like whatever I used to do is like I have a timings like at morning 9 I used to start. I will just open LinkedIn and whatever they post, I sort it off like a most recent one and the relevant one. I select the job titles whichever is matching my profile, and then I used to apply as soon as they post, because they will stop their opening once they get 50 applicants or 100 applicants. They will start. So we need to be as fast as in applying those things. And also like in Saturday Sundays I won't focus on applying. Like Saturday Sundays there won't be any hiring. So weekdays around 9 o'clock I used to do, like after that maybe 1 p.m. like that, and in the evening 6 p.m. like that. Other time I used to like watch the videos and practice in the remaining times. This was my routine for the past 3 months.
Interview conversation you remember where maybe the HR or company rejected you because of your backgrounds? Anything you remember?
Yeah, there are actually once initially what I did, I gave some fake experience. Like in my experience section, I mentioned I was working in BigQuery or something like that. But later on, he got to know that this is not genuine experience. Like somehow he got to know that. I told him like I was preparing. Like I told the whole journey. Then it was not working. Then I kept the originality and whatever it's like shown my interest. Whoever is like interested in this, maybe I can try that company alone. Like that's how I follow. So I would suggest don't fake the experience. Like give the show it in your project or something.
Genuinely whatever you have worked, just put it there. And even if you are trying to fake something, maybe you have 80-90% knowledge of it. You had no background, so it would be very interesting to know how was the detailed interview process, right? Like in the 𝗝cie, in general, how many rounds you went through, and in each round for the data engineering role, what type of questions they were actually asking. So if you can explain it in detail, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I actually felt like the interview process at 𝗝cie was something different from other companies which I applied, because once the HR screening was happened, after that they directly arranged a manager round. So after the manager round only, I had the technical assessment round and then technical round. For first round was manager round. After the manager round, they were like telling their budget. If this budget is okay for you, then we can move on to the tech. They were not asking about my current CTC, by the way, like most of the companies used to ask. Here they were not asking, and we proceeded with the technical assessment, which comprised of a SQL question and a Python question. And after that technical round, which there were 2 people and asking on different problems.
So did they also focus more on the designing skills and they deep dive into your projects which you worked on? What was that experience?
No, not into designing skills actually, as it was an entry level role. Like they were focusing on just SQL, BigQuery and Airflow.
They also like focus a lot on the DSA, like hard level DSA?
No, not that. It's I would say easy level DSA. As I gave many interviews in the previous, it was mostly medium level DSA questions. Here it was an easy level question based on list and dictionary.
Getting 6,000 as a freelancer for that civil engineering space work, and now getting into data engineering. So can you just give the average number based on your experience? Like you interviewed at multiple companies, you are coming from a different background. So with these kind of constraints, at your experience level, how much companies are paying for the data engineer role? Okay,
for data engineers, actually, it's based on organization, whether service based or product based. In service based, they are offering up to 9 LPA actually. What I have seen for a 2-year experience or 0 to 3 years of experience. And I got chance to apply for 2 of the foreign based companies actually, which payroll will be managed by some other organization. They were even ready to pay 20 LPA, which I could not able to clear the interview. That was of a good standard. If you have DSA, and you can try for those type of companies. So in an average, we can expect like 12 LPA.
Wonderful, Gowtham. Really motivating, really inspiring, and I hope a lot of people who are watching this podcast will take inspiration from this podcast, that Gowtham has done it, saw many challenges, COVID time, civil engineering role, all that, right? So definitely lots of ups and downs, and if you can do it, definitely they can also do it. It's just you need to work on right things, right skills, right projects. From where you are doing, that doesn't matter, but yes, you need to know where to actually start from it. And I'm glad that at least I am putting that right track on the GDS.
Thank you, Susan. Thanks to all of you for helping me out in this journey, and thank you once again.
So that is what I had for all of you in this amazing podcast. I'm pretty sure you have enjoyed this entire experience of Gowtham, that how he made this successful transition. And if you are feeling motivated now, then you should also start working on your data engineering related preparation. And if you find it informative, make sure to give it a like it in the big numbers, share it with your fellow friends. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the notification icon. And don't forget to enroll yourself in the upcoming new batch of data engineering bootcamp, which is data engineering 4.0 with AWS, a very extensive basic to advanced and a zero to hero kind of bootcamp for all the aspiring data engineers, where everything will be in the live classes and with a dedicated placement assistance. So hurry up, enroll today. The link has been given in the description, or you can visit www.GrowDataSkills.com, and don't forget to avail the early bird offer valid for only 50 users. Make sure to use the coupon code FIRST50. If you have any doubt, any query, make sure to call or drop a WhatsApp message on this given number. I will see you all in the live classes very soon. Till then, just keep exploring data.